What's up guys? So I've got a deck snapshot for you here today. It's just going to be a few replays and then a little picture at the end of my Mekk Knight Deck Profile. This is pure Mekk Knights, but before I get into it, look, if you want to try this deck yourself, the YDK deck list, it's in the description. Just go down there and download it, then leave a comment, let me know how it was for you, what you would improve, what you wouldn't improve, or if you need any help, leave a comment. Again, I'll be more than willing to help. But yeah, this is just some replays of some Mekk Knight games, and then I'm going to do a more in-depth profile tomorrow explaining exactly why I pick certain cards, the ratios and stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that so you don't miss it. Subscribe, click that notification bell. But yeah, so Mekk Knights is really good this format. I think it's an amazing deck at the moment, just because the ability to kind of play this really small compact engine and then stuff your deck full of techs and board breakers, I think it's just unparalleled and really good. It's always, I like decks like this in more frustrating formats where you have cards like Dragoon and you have these Buster Locks and stuff. Another strength of Mekk Knights is that they are actually quite good even without their extra deck. So even if you're locked out of your extra deck, it's not the end of the world. You can still play, you can still kind of access a lot of your utility. So the deck is really strong. It does have a slight weakness in going first, but as you're going to see in a replay I will show later, this deck can actually have an insane FTK going first, where it dumps your opponent's entire hand and extra deck to the graveyard, and the ability to do that is just so good, and very few decks can recover from having that happen. So this is a game against Subterrors. Now Subterrors is a pretty easy matchup for Mekk Knights, I'd say, just because they have to set cards, unfortunately, which means they're very often going to be donating you free columns to activate your Mekk Knight effects. So, and this is Numeron Subterror, which is a bit frustrating, but I'm playing so many hand traps and stuff that it's just hard for his Zexal to ever resolve. I don't think he ever managed to resolve his Zexal against me, just because I kept stunning it. So here I'm actually going to activate the Gamma just so that he won't have a face-up Guru for next turn. That was the entire reason why I actually activated Gamma in that situation. And then this means that when I first negate his Zexal here, he's not going to be able to use his Fiendus to counter that. So that was the main reason why I actually negated it. But then from here, it's just the standard Mekk Knight combo. This is another strength I think of Mekk Knights. They have three really strong starters in Blue Sky, Purple Nightfall, and Mekk Knight Orcus Gear. So having those three cards allows them to pretty much start their combo from any hand and then just kind of go nuts. The only thing obviously you need is a column, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, moving on. So as you can see here, like he's not in a good position right now, because I've got my Mekk Knights upstairs off, I've got my Indigo Eclipse for next turn, I've got my Secrets on board, so he's not going to be able to activate his Guru. And it's just, yeah, and then having that Lambda on field, continually negating and searching is great. And again, another really great synergy of Mekk Knights, obviously, because your Purple Nightfall banishing is going to continually trigger that Lambda and give you a free Gamma negate every turn. Gamma is one of the best cards this format, so any way to maximize our usage of that is always going to be amazing. But as you can see here, he puts There Can Be Only One on the board. Funnily enough, that card doesn't really affect Mekk Knights that much. It's actually one of the floodgates I used to play Mekk Knights a lot, but in this situation I didn't want him to have it because I knew that I could pretty certain like kind of guarantee an OTK, or like at least an unrepairable game state for him. But let's move on to one more replay. So this is going to be against a Zodiac. I'm going to do this replay and then I will show you the FTK after this, so make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, this is going to be against Zodiac. Now Zodiac again is a bit of a frustrating matchup on some respects for Mekk Knights, just because they do have this kind of like low commitment board they can make, where they can just bring out their Trident with one summon, which is very frustrating. But luckily enough, this guy didn't actually have Nibiru in his deck, so he couldn't use the crossouts to negate. So I'm just going to get rid of that AA Zeus, which is a really good card for Zodiac. Now here, I mean, this is probably one of the biggest weaknesses I would say actually of Mekk Knights though. If you don't see one of those three cards, that is Indigo, Blue Sky, or Gearsu, and by extension if you don't see World Legacy Secret, I think it's the quick play that searches those three cards. If you don't see them, you are in a bit of an awkward position obviously, but again, because you're playing so many hand traps and kind of techs, a lot of the times you're still going to be able to slow down your opponent and prevent them from doing much. So from here, obviously he's made his Vesperati, but he can't do much. But that's actually given me free reign to make a window and get a free draw off that, which is quite nice. Then I'm going to make Lib the World Key Blade Master. I'm going to try and search, but he's going to deny it. But to be honest, I don't care. Really at this stage, I know that I have the advantage in terms of card advantage. I can just spam searches and stuff. So I was just really trying to bait out negate from there. I'm going to get to my my World Legacy's memory, use my Indigo, and I've got my Mekk Knight loop going, and he's just not in a good position anymore. So I'm going to pop that token. Spectrum Supreme's going to summon another Mekk Knight from the deck, and now I'm really kind of off to the races in that really winnable situation. So As you can see, he doesn't draw much. He's going to have to use Desires, but Desires does get him a Tenki, which is going to get him the 3-blade, but unfortunately he just can't do anything from here. So let's go into the FTK. So this was game 3, and this is really funny. So now this FTK, you can pretty much do it as long as you see Gearsu plus either Indigo Eclipse or Blue Sky, or if you don't see either of those, you need to see Gearsu and any 2 Mekk Knight or World Legacy cards. So that's what you do need to do it. But once you've done it, it's really about resolving the 3 different searches. So you want to resolve your effect to search off Indigo Eclipse to search a Mekk Knight, your effect to search a Mekk Knight off Blue Sky, and your effect to shoot a Mekk Knight from the deck with Spectrum Supreme. That's really what you're attempting to do, and you can slow this down and see it in more detail. But there are different hands, and that's essentially the key. You're resolving those 3 searches, which means you're getting your 3 Mekk Knights in your extra decks, your 3 Mekk Knights your 2 Mekk Knights that you're searching, and then your 3 Mekk Knights in your hand. That adds to up to 8 Mekk Knights, which is going to give you that FTK. And as you can see, his hand gets ripped and he just can't do anything. So guys, that is my Mekk Knight deck snapshot. I'm going to go, well, that wasn't the snapshot, that was just the replays, but I'm going to go into the deck right now, and here it is. This is the profile. So I'm going to do a more in-depth profile with the list and exactly why I pick certain cards tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see that. So guys, I will talk to you all later. Peace.